And he spills his water just in time to wet his bed. Again, glad to be with you. Only half a glass after throwing it around the studio. It is the Market Sniper. It is supposed to be non-farm payrolls day today. But useless bureaucrats shut down because they are a lech on society. Their salaries and wages are sucking the blood like vampires out of your body. And they have to be put to sleep every now and then when you have a debt-based collapse. Which is kind of where we are. And we're going to be talking to you about a couple of interesting topics today. Let's get a swig of water as was originally intended, having given the carpet one already. Just before live, I was supposed to do that. But anyway, now you have to listen to me glug glug. Glad to be with you, Nice. We are going to be talking about gold. Ha! You like that one? Yes, hyperstagflation and oil. That's right. Quite a few things to go in there, but just a bit of clarity about what apparently is going on, given the recent events. Let's have a look. There will be a non-farm payrolls today, apparently. Whoops, wrong week. Let's go there. Non-farm employment change. They will, of course, reserve an excuse because the government was shut down, they'll tell you. The government was shut down, they'll say. As a result, tentative events are subject to delay, revision, or cancellation. I'm especially big on the revision bit. Yep, useless they are. They've always been. And of course, it's propaganda and lies. Damn lies from, the statist overlords and ruling classes that think they're better than you. That's where we're at. Anyway, enough of that tentativity. I want to address something that we've been talking about for a while. Let's go and have a look at this one. What's really been amazing me is that we're getting a lot of coverage from the major analysts. In fact, I want to show this on a draw. I pushed it out on the social media now. A lot of people talking, Tubby's talking about the extremity in the gold to oil ratio. KuCoin research, apart from, that CV19 event, which actually we were also responsible for predicting well in 2019, mid-year, November, and then again in February, standing on a stage in Mexico, Acapulco, that you were going to have a major collapse in the oil price and a subsequent run actually in gold, that you would see an incredible flip in what was a gold long short oil trade. We then repeated that call after oil hit just under $130. We called for it to crash back down on the basis that, in our view, the economy was far weaker than many realized, and the Rockefeller tax, as I call oil, was too high. The strength of the economy wasn't strong enough. And as a result, there would be all this removes Marsh from table, all of this crashed consumer, which continued to see oil trade down from the 130 into it was mid-80s when we gave the short call on that, along with gold long, and it's continued to be very poor in what is a fiat and debt debasement time, meaning the buying power of your dollar has absolutely inverse parabola to the downside. So oil is particularly cheap, and these people are noticing it. But what's interesting is they're coming up now, once the market is already at clear-cut extremes. And I want to highlight that this is where we've always been. In fact, we stopped talking about it because the reversal was in. We were talking about it in 2024 during June on an inverted head and shoulder. And we were putting those YouTubes out and saying, guys, you're going to have a massive overperformance on gold and a bad underperformance in oil. And we had a lot of people, including our good friends like Chris McIntosh, that were still positioning in oil. That's not to say they've done badly. He plays a very smart game. But we were saying, don't preferably overweight the energies complex on the basis of an inflation trade. We are in a recession for the masses, and have been for an extended period, which is why the oil price, Rockefeller tax, has to ratchet its way down, crush consumer, less buying on Amazon, less delivery, less everything else. He says, mops his brow with the water that's still floating on his desk, all those good things. And at the same time, you are in a fiat and debt debasement and a charge into a reserve asset. This is why you've gone from 14 barrels bought at the low there to 63 today, and this is a major reversal that we continue to expect to happen. It performed to our target, and as per HVF method rules, we said you're likely to have some form of a pullback during that period. During that period, we got the daily setup on gold where it went essentially sideways and created the next HVF. From April, where we got the 3,500 Trump tariff tantrum spike when dollar went down, rates went up. Note the rates going up, but the dollar went down, and a major charge into gold that ran up to 3,500. Then you went sideways around the 3,300, 3,350 level for the better part of April, all the way through to September when we broke out the late part of September, and we put leverage trades back on for the run through the 3,770 range, which have seen you actually trade into 3,800s, going almost to 3,900s, a typical degree, although a nice firm degree of overperformance to our leverage trade. That has been going on, and at the same time, the oil price is stagnant and low, and this is in an environment of dollar debasement. The gold price is highlighting that. The inverse parabola of the gold price, in other words, that parabola you watch on the quarterly mark when you do 3 months chart, that parabola is the loss of buying power of your dollar when you invert it. It's simple as that, and that's the game you're in. We get criticized for talking about hyperstagflation. David Hunter says there's no stagflation. In fact, you're undershooting the Fed's inflation number, he says. And other analysts think the same. There is no inflation. You are coexisting in an environment of both major loss in recession in real terms adjusted, for which the only measure for your inflation is the whaling into gold. Gold is not a bubble. Gold is never a bubble. Gold runs when dollar collapses. Gold runs when fiat X collapses. When an entire global system is in fiat X, Y, Z collapsing, gold runs double, 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 double trouble, said the three witches in Macbeth. You have real big trouble that's going to go on for a far bunch longer because the fiat debasement is real. And everything else that is needed and consumed is actually in a recession because the two-tier economy, the twisted balloon, the main part, that is you and I, is actually not doing great. It's not doing great. Salaries are not moving at the rate of true debasement of fiat. People are looking for second jobs on the Google trends. Second jobs, please, more shekels. Must work harder. It's really tough to survive. Lots of financial stress all around. I feel very badly for those people. Having positioned better than them, though, I am very fortunate and very grateful, and I want you to feel fortunate too. Do the right things. We spoke of this a year ago here in June, and everybody else is talking about it now in October of 2025. The reversal in this ratio was clear to us quite some time ago, and it is, again, like the bond market trade, a seminal indicator of hyperstagflation, an extreme version of recession for the masses, on the basis of a debasing currency in an inverted parabola, whilst at the same time a rush for the rich, the central bankers, the hedge funds, the home offices, all whaling into gold, leading to an absolute similar parabola to the upside in XAU, driven also by the BRICS nations bifurcated that can see the Ponzi collapse, but don't want to talk about it too much. They don't even want to intimidate the Americans. They could dump their treasuries and crash the market. That would be an act of financial war that would very quickly lead to an act of physical war. So they are just quietly buying the absolute bejesus out of the gold, silver, and platinum markets. And so they do, and set up a parallel system. If you want the news before the news, you come here for HVF method. You find it out in the community here first, the key macro trends for the people who have actually got the correct economic framing as well. That goes with the technical hit-me-ups. It's because of these technical hit-me-ups of a reversal in the relationship of these two commodities that we can make the economic predictions and biases that we have made, which I continue to assert is the correct. Inflation and recession are not mutually exclusive. They can coexist, especially when you have bifurcated economies, two-tier justice systems, two-tier economic systems, or some of which are status supported, building out server farms and coding and doing that, and everybody else being starved of capital, access to capital in a recession. It suits them that you be in a recession. They need you squeezed so that when they crash the stock market, they can finishing you off. When they crash the housing market, they can finishing you off. And when they spike the interest rates, they can finishing you off so that they own your stuff. And no, tokenization is not your friend. As everyone on my Twitter feed says, but tokenization is inevitable. Tokenization is a great progress. Tokenization. Lol's Finkelstein is not that excited about Bitcoin. He's excited about tokenization because that delivers him the possessions of the world as everybody rushes to tokenize their assets on the blockchain, only to be taxed out of them, only for them to proliferate their shitcoin token and buy everybody's stuff up and turn it into a rental agreement in a rentier society, fulfilling their goal of total Marxist control and ownership of all assets. You are in a game of monopoly against the bankers, and the game continues until you own nothing and are not so happy. Apart from the occasional freebie UBI-sponsored pharmaceuticals that they'll hit you up and turn you as high as a kite into and cancel you out later for being on the losing team and, you know, too much population. That's right. That's what's going down. Those charts tell me where we are economically. They also tell me what comes next. They also tell me how this game ends. And it is a spiritual war. It is a political war. It is a religious war. It's a faith-based war. It's every form of war is being fought against you. A mental war, a psyop war, a financial war. You are at war. You're at war with your government. They are not your friends. They are the enablers of the eventual Marxist classes that will establish themselves as supreme over you because their God said so. They were chosen and you were not. Shalom, shalom. Yeah, so is the truth. So is the truth on Non-Farm Payrolls Day that you must hear. It is coming. It is coming for you, and it starts right there. Recession for you. Pumpermentals for the Mag 7 super billionaire class, all forms of fraud, circle jerk revenue between Oracle, Nvidia, and everything else. Bag holders for the retail investors wailing in as the insiders are skipping, dancing a little bit closer to the exits so that they can shaila when the cops show up real quick. That's how it goes, friends. That's how it goes. If you want the news, before the serious analysts that wear collars and ties and everything else and speak professionally only and never tell silly jokes like a clown prince right here that you're busy witnessing, then you can wait a year until the trade is already gone and they start the noticing, because this trade started when we called it. Here all the YouTubes, by the way, we suffer from a Cassandra syndrome. A complete lack of respect by major economic names and forces that never think to ask the sniper, the man who told you about the collapse in oil before it happened, not on the Sunday, as Raul did, just as the Saudis and the Russians didn't agree and it fell on the Monday when you couldn't have even put the trade on, but told you 6 months, 9 months, and 2 months before. Just like over here on this particular market, in these particular pairs, that you had The gold, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the gold, the debt, and the oil. That was 5 months ago. What gold and uranium are telling. Why gold? Gold up, oil down. The magic of HVF method. 11 months ago. 11 months ago, you could have been told about it. There were other super cycles. Oil, we spoke of how it will be down on gold. Where is it? Where's all our videos? Gold versus oil, the ultimate trade versus oil. That was short 10 months ago. You could have found all of these videos where we spoke about this trade here first. And this is what we want. We want to be recognized. We are needy. We want love. Nobody loved the sniper. He bad. He bad. He say bad things. He say bad things. No credit is due for macro technical calls like the gold, like the Euro Swiss franc crisis in 2009, again on the peg fail in 2015. Like a lot of things that are happening right now. We don't get the recognition for being early because we've stopped talking about it when everyone else starts, and it's now a trending matter. That's the thing. That's the thing when you're early, when you see things, you see the enemy's armies 100 miles out and you warn everybody and everybody goes to sleep. And then a day before they arrive, someone says, there's dust on the hill there. We're about to be attacked. And he's a hero for saving the village. That's our Cassandra syndrome, our victimization. I'm a victim. I'm offended and I'm a victim. We're happy. We make the trade, we make the money, and we wait for everyone else to realize it after the fact. So let's have a look at some markets and tell you about some other things that are going on. Let's have a look at oil. What's happening with oil? What's happening with oil? In debased dollars and gold ounces, it sure as hell hasn't been doing well and is looking very, very sick. Please give me a correct oil chart. There you go. That's what's happening on oil. That's what's been happening on oil. We've been shorted. We told you about the 80 levels, great shorts. You got another chance there, shorts. You're trading barely in the 60s. $60.89, $60.89. You lose 89 cents and oil falls into the 50s zone. And you think it's a strong economy. You think you're not in a recession. Everyone, we're not in a recession. We're not in a recession. You don't have honest statistics. You can't even work out in real terms. You can't have a GDP of mid-3% a month on fake inflation numbers. You don't get real-term growth if you don't have an honest CPI. The next great lie to be exposed is the CPI. We called the labor 3 years ago. We kept calling it. It's been exposed. You're not as strong. Now they are focusing a little bit more recessionary. You're already in and out multiple recessions at the moment. That part of the economy, the twisted balloon, Main Street is there. At the same time, your cost of living is continuing to climb. That's the fiat debasement, and that is inflationary. All expansion of money supply is inflation. We have our friends Henrik Zeeberg and others that say it's not inflation. Sorry, it is. The minute you are borrowing more than you get in income, it's inflation. It's a fact. It's a fact. But you can also experience a contracting economy in that environment while seeing base consumer costs going up because the expansion of money is inflationary. And even if you're in a disinflationary time, let's call it CV19 lockdown, where you have a major slam down, what you actually have is a chronic amount of stagnation brought about by the shutting of the economy that is overwhelming your degree of inflation that you're doing. And then we did even more inflation and printed 7 trillion, etc. And then we made sure that the extreme forces of inflation was now countervailing those that were disinflationary. Both existed at the same time, like good and evil. They both exist. You don't have neutrality. It's not binary. The world isn't good and it isn't suddenly pivoting to bad. There's both all the time. And that's how inflation and disinflation operate. Tariffs are, on the one hand, inflationary. They are a tax that makes things more expensive. On the other hand, later and longer in, They are reducing the amount of trade, making things more expensive, reducing the size of the pizza. It is stagnatory. It is disinflationary to the growth of the economy. Instead of expanding everything, making a bigger pizza, you are reducing the size of the pizza by reducing global trade and by putting costs on it. It is a tax on the American citizen. And now, Donald J. Trump, the full name, the original name, he's a name flipper. You know who the name flippers are. They do like a bit of name flipping. Yes, Trump is going to give you a subsidy. He's going to give you a rebate against tariffs. But hold on a minute. All the money he's got on tariffs is going on farmers that he destroyed in counter tariffs. Just the soybean farmers alone, he's committed 16 billion to on his net gain of 23 billion. Plus, at the same time now, he's going to bail out all of America. $2,000 for every American citizen, times that by 300 million, and work out how much that's going to cost you. Wow. Or let's even say $1,000, 1,000 for 300 million people. Add those zeros in, my friend. 300 million, that goes to 3 billion, 30 billion, 300 billion. Wow, that's starting to get expensive. Where does that money go? Onto the debt pile. More inflation and debasement for you. We gave you some money. We're so kind. I am the benevolent leader, president. I gave you some money and I devalued your money at the same time by even more. And don't forget, the administration and the government needed to do that, and all the costs associated with that. It's not just like they get it in, they send it out. No. Administrators, government officials, appointees, hotline. I didn't get my grand. Where's my grand? Oh, you didn't send it to me in Monero on a private chain. No. We only do this. We can only have it in shitcoin, XYZ, World Liberty Finance, or Trump or Melania token. Okay, that's great. Go grab your $1,000 and go watch your money debase. A once-off sum of $1,000 to the average American. What do you think goes on there? What do you really think goes on there? The most useful thing they could do is give them ounces of silver. That's the truth, but they won't do that. No, sir. At $50 an eagle, they could give you 20 eagles. Is that right? You're going to get 3 zeros? Yes, 20. I did the maths right this time. 20 eagles, $1,000. You could get 20 eagles. Do you think they'll send you 20 eagles? No. Amazingly, America is offering, in other news, to buy resources from Australian companies and invest in Australian companies. But they push Bitcoin. But now they're massive acquirers themselves of resources. They've suddenly woken up and they want to buy resources while telling you buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the thing, they tell you. Bitcoin is the thing, they tell you. And then, at the same time, they were buying resources like mad chickens. They want every resource company in the world. They want Canada for its resources. They want Greenland for its resources. Why aren't they buying Bitcoin instead of securing all these extra provinces? Buy your Bitcoin. That eats your own advice. Don't get high on your own supply. Oh, man. Okay, that's our friends right there. Trump, the government, Trump by the real name, of course, chosen one, and he is playing the tunes. And he's going to stay popular because gave you $1,000 and put it all on the tab and debased it with a whole bunch of government costs, fraud and theft and everything else, so that it actually works out at more than 2,500, 3,000 per person to do, and accelerates the debt debasement and the fiat debasement of your currency by even more than the money you receive. The best thing you can do with that 1,000 is get yourself 20 ounces. 20 ounces. Must share the screen, by the way. Should do that, shouldn't I? For the oil price. 20 ounces, he says, for the silver that you could have. That's our oil price, by the way. Looking kind of shoddy, isn't it? Okay, now we have got to start our live trading day. We might get a number. We might, the bureaucrats, and that's coming soon. This is what you stand to gain with a live trading day. We will be doing the kind of analysis that leads to you getting the news before the news, a year before all the other analysts start talking about it, 9 months before the other analysts start talking about the great oil crash, the gold long to put on while you're shorting the oil crash, which was 2019 and came again, just like we mentioned. All the best trades are revealed and discussed and analyzed here, utilizing HVF method in not many moments. 5 moments. I think I've got 5 minutes to shut up and get on and start the session. You too can purchase this for a mere 197 diminishing debased dollars, for which maybe you might be able to get great ideas that will see you earn a whole bunch more. In that, we will take questions. We will look at all the core markets. We will do the cross-market analysis on both the traditional markets and the crypto markets, which are now interesting too. Often on non-farm payrolls, one of the two markets are a bit dull. We've got real things happening in both markets. Crypto, oh boy, gold, silver, platinum, and oil, dare we say, and equities and currencies. Oh my goodness, so much to talk about in traditional markets and assessments to do. Hour and a half, we'll have a half-hour break, and then we'll do the crypto markets on the other side of that. The crypto markets, boy, things are hotting up there too. There could be some fast movers to the upside if you've been following the crypto sniper as well. And by the way, we don't trust the crypto markets. It's all part of the uploading of your technological Bolshevik communism that they so desperately want to bring. You and I know it. We know it well. We know it very, very well. But nonetheless, if you've got a choice between taking the money, being pragmatic, the hold your nose trade, do it, do it, do it. Okay, the link is being shared right now by the community, and you can come and join us. If you want to join us for 3 for the price of 2, that means 3 months worth. You get to watch the recording as long as you like. If you're on the one for the full 30 days, everything, you can take notes, you can look and learn, you can watch it all, you can participate, see the other people's questions as well as your own, where the key opportunities are right here, right now, as we are at this key levels, very key levels, precious metals, silver, getting a bit choppy out there. Will there be opportunities lower down? We'll be talking about that as well. Okay, till next time, I look forward to updating you. Get the news before the news with HVF method. Hunt Volatility Funnel method is elite. It's only available here. This is the only place you can get it. You too can have the key themes a year and a half before everyone else is even talking about them. You've already banked 50% of your profits on the target of that trade, and you're holding the other half whilst the others are just realizing that it's happening. If you want that, you click that link below and join us for our live trading day on Non-Farm Payrolls Day, maybe. Till next time, catch you later. Bye-bye.